welcome to Tell Us with Tutti, and I'm here today with my amazing co-host. This time it's gonna be my dear, lovely friend, Joyce Mubudi. Hi, Joyce. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, my sister?
I am amazing. I am so excited, Joyce, to bring you all to my podcast today. And
thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for joining me. One of the reasons why I wanted to bring Joyce and why it was so important for her to join today to educate and to explain and to kind of like share her experience. Joyce is the true McCoy. Joyce is my dear friend from Zimbabwe and absolutely gorgeous. And it's just the beauty of the representation of the woman from your region. It's just that just solid, rich, black texture, just animated, just culture. And I think that we need to dig deep into a culture to understand, and what better than talking to locals, right? That's why, I press a lot when it comes to traveling, because only traveling is going to allow you to see the world and understand it, So that's why I wanted to bring Joyce. And I want to ask you a question. I brought you today over here because I want to talk about hair.
Ooh.
And I know it's going to be a spicy topic. I want to talk about hair, and it's one of the things that I absolutely love about Joyce is your genuinity and authenticity. Oh. It's like when I see you, I see a fantastic, tall, strong African woman.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's almost like unapologetic here, and what I love about it is like you have maintained, even with all this Western culture, you have maintained yourself like pure to your roots and to who you are, and unapologetic. Like this woman has your hair is amazing. It's like she doesn't relax. She's raw. She's hair, and she has a fantastic, beautiful daughter who has a mane like a freaking lion, and that beautiful mane is untouched, and I love it. And your son, the exact same thing. It's like keeping your essence, keeping your true nature, even like not allowing external factors to influence who you are and to doubt the beauty within who you are. And that to me is amazing, because we're here in this country when everybody gets so manipulated from media, from beauty products, from celebrities, from blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, losing the essence of who they are. And it's something that I've seen throughout the years, and I know Joyce for years before even neither of us have kids, and we both have teenagers now. Exactly. So, and that hasn't changed. The glitz and the glamour of the Bay Area, of the glitzy California, haven't changed the essence of the African woman that came here. And on that note, I want to ask you, how do you feel here? How have you fit in this country? And how have you make yourself so strong and so noticeable? And still, what drives you to, not lose your essence and who you are?
Oh, that's a great question, Tui. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, my flowers. You're giving me all these flowers today.
I'm speaking fast, girl.
I'm so blessed and so happy to be here with you to share little gems and just pour water on you, right? Like there's this fantastic quote, I think it was, that says, "He who waters others needs to be watered." So I'm here doing my part, and so thank you very much.
You're welcome, my love.
It's, oh my goodness, this journey has been very, very interesting. It's not over yet, but it's one of those things where I'm from Zimbabwe. I've been here now 24 years, and I came, to school, met my husband, and we're here and we have children. And raising, biracial children, right? African and German and American in America is definitely a challenge of itself, and being a Black woman as well. I mean, 6 foot tall, dark, loud,
strong,
vivacious, the presence is definitely there. It's been a challenge in the fact that just really, especially navigating these waters as a Black woman in society, where, predominantly where we live sometimes, isn't exactly,
the representation of the world.
Yes. And definitely, our Blackness isn't represented, our Africanness isn't represented. So we are in the minority. So that in itself, raising these strong Black children with, multiple ethnicity as well, is definitely, it really, has taught me to dig deep in terms of like my upbringing, my foundation, where I'm from. So really keeping grounded, with my family and my friends. And so these kids can see Blackness, see Black excellence, and see the strength that it is to be, Black in America. You know what I'm saying? And so that pretty much is my driving force. And that is the foundation where it's come from, is, knowing, where I have come from, and never forgetting that, and that those roots, just kind of fortifying what's happening now, so I really, always, keep, my family close, my cousins, and it's important for my daughter to see Black women, that are visible, that are strong, that have got a voice. So what we're doing today, Trudy, you and I having this conversation is just, icing on the cake for our children, our daughters, to see the different types of, of how beautiful, the Black culture is, and just the different facets, not just in our hair, but in the complexion, in the way we talk, our accents. Like this is like a diversified, kind of.
But isn't that beautiful?
So beautiful.
And
it's so beautiful.
It's something that, I, without offend any other culture, but I see that I don't see this, variety, what I would say, in any other culture than Afro-descendant people.
Mm-hmm.
For history has proved us that it wasn't meant to be that way, but now that it is, it's just so beautiful and so diverse within the same race. And the end result is, it should be proudness. The end result should be empowerment. The end result should be beauty. And the one thing that I would love to be is like, I would love to be represented in every single stage of the world, in every single fashion industry. I would love to be represented. It's like that we go and we see ourselves represented everywhere we go. And there's something that sometimes it lacks a lot in this country.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things that I will change, maybe better, when we refer to all of us, what a woman means, what we need, our needs. And a few celebrities and a few entrepreneurs have focused on that. Rihanna being one of them, she just did the Super Bowl.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Not representing the Rihanna glow here. Yes, let's do. We bow down to the Empress.
Oh my God. So and I was just researching a little bit about her Fenty products, and just realized that she was sick and tired of being sick and tired trying to match her skin. She was sick and tired trying to find something that would represent her skin, her whole line, and her whole line, even though it's very diverse, it targets dark women.
Yes.
It targets dark customers. It targets all shades of, and that comes in clothing too, and all shapes, because we come in all shapes and all shades. And that is something that I honestly would love to see more entrepreneurs like doing that.
Yes.
Not
and
only
I think we had to see it. We had to see it from a celebrity with that stage presence, right? We had to see with such an audience. I'm so glad she took that position, because, I mean, just even makeup. Like, let's go back to like the 90s when, Naomi Campbell and the Tyra Banks, the only two, maybe there were more, but those are the ones that I know, resonated with me growing up.
Iman.
Yeah, Iman, yes. And they had to, I mean, even they didn't have the right kind of like foundation for them, and they had to kind of like go to these like makeup shit. I mean, it's very interesting to like just dive into the world of beauty in terms of women of color. Just now we just, by a press of a button, I can go to Sephora and buy my Fenty products, and everything is matched to the T. But look where we're coming from, right? So it's very interesting, and I'm really very happy that she was the celebrity, to be the one to have this wonderful line of not just makeup, but lingerie and clothing, that focuses on the diverse. Because
absolutely.
Things like this, when you come from like lacking, or if there's that's when people. Entrepreneurs, that's when we, as human beings, we're most at our creative, like when there's like, and so even with you and this podcast, it says, you are this was so needed, girl. Like, please, we need more of this, lather it on us, because my goodness, you're just like, I am doing this, and this is my voice and my opinions. And boy, do we need that, girl. So
thank you so much. But I feel to follow what you just said, it's like from these amazing ideas come from terms of a struggle, right? Like models back in the day, the 80s, 90s, even probably behind Iman, she was being an amazing model on a huge platform. But can you imagine that you being like doing the runways of Paris Fashion Week, and you not having a fashion stylist that will perfectly match your skin, and the struggle of you looking crazy,
like you can see the white, like
right? And it's like that's it blows my mind to me for these people to come forward and say, you know what, this is madness. The world doesn't just look like this. We look like all of this, and we have to represent all of us. Tyra Banks, the same thing with her, her whole body and body positivity. That's another thing that I would love to talk to you about too.
Yes, absolutely.
And Fenty, Rihanna, with all of her shades and all of her shades, which is amazing. The world needs to understand, and when it comes to appropriation, and when it comes to educating, understanding is also educating ourselves. So because sometimes we go out there and we now in the media we take a hairstylist and attack a celebrity that decided to just cornrow their hair. Or that is not Afro-descended and starting to braid their hair, or, and people, Afro-descended people get touchy about it. And then, everybody jumping in on their necks like, no, it's just a hairstyle. Yeah, but, learning, educating ourselves, will probably make us get, better with each other in the sense of, reading the background. Like, I was reading yesterday, I was watching yesterday these things that we were sharing, and the back history of braiding your hair, as an African person, as an Afro-descendant person, comes back to putting seeds in their hair while they were braiding it.
Yes.
Because you don't know what the journey is going to be. You're being taken away and then just hiding seeds and braiding into your hair for whatever destination you will at least have a crop to survive from, you know? And when you see the history behind it and the appropriation and taken, then you think about yourself and you think about it and everything that happened. And it becomes more than a hairstyle. It becomes an ownership that you love to be respected.
That's so true.
And, you know, we need to educate ourselves and see beyond the ego and beyond of taking something so lightly, you know, taking something so lightly. Like, you know, why do we like to dress white? It was just, you know, that whiteness comes from being the field. And so, it was so hot.
Yes.
And so the linen is breezy and it's white and it gives you comfort. There's a story behind everything, you know. So when all that is appropriated and taken from you just for a style, and you're like, huh. So
it's very interesting, especially coming back to what you were saying before about the seeds in the hair. I, even being of African descent, like straight up from Zimbabwe, had no idea that this is what they were doing, you know, part of, you know, the journey of the, you know, slave trade, you know, to the Caribbean and to the, you know, United States, to North America. Had no idea these women were putting seeds in their hair and, you know, cornrowing it back to keep it there, because, you know, that is going to stay. It's going to stay put.
Yeah.
And they were preparing for the journey, like, if I get caught. So it was part of the community. They knew it was like secret language. Like, listen, this is what we need to do. If you get caught, you know, you will have these seeds in your hair no matter where you go, and you could, you know, plant them, and then you can have food. You can have, you will be, or gold or something. They said that. And that just touched me, because it's like, man, the realness of that. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine how terrified you have to be? Can you imagine how uncertain your life would be, that you, in the start of a moment, you have absolutely stripped out from everything, and you grab a handful of seeds and put it in your hair and braid it? And
braid it back. And that is the way to keep some kind of connection to where you come from.
And,
you know?
Controlled. And have some sort of control, something that in the moment has absolute control.
Absolutely.
So, get back some sort of control in your life is unbelievable.
And even also they talk about, I think it was another one that I was looking at, you know, one of these reels about natural hair, and they talked about just even with the cornrows, you know, in America, you know, they called them like freedom rows, you know, because that was a political statement back then. They'll cornrow their hair, but it was also communication to say, you know, freedom was like 5 acres or something like that. I know I might, you know, people would have to research it, but it's like, it was like, if it was like 5 acres or something, or like to freedom, they'll cornrow 5 cornrows or something in their hair. So it was almost like a map to, you know, to guide people.
A way of communicating without involving anybody else. So just you communicating with your tribe, with your sisterhood, with your brotherhood, in a language that only you could understand. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? And that's why that's what I say, you know, I have to maintain myself as unique as possible. Why? Because enough of the same is done. You know, everybody is trying to follow and fill an agenda. It's somewhat repetitive, but you're putting yourself out there unapologetically and who you are. This is who I am. This is how I look.
Yes.
I don't want to change. And if you don't like it, you learn to like it, or you get out of my way.
That's
as simple as that. As simple as that.
Simple.
As you know, I feel that, and I'm gonna talk about like Black women. Black women in general have been targeted so much. And I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of the persecution. I'm sick of the judgment. I'm sick of the labeling. For, now our curves are trendy, right? now in 2000s. Yeah. Now it's trendy. But back in the day, I was the fat one. Mm-hmm. I was the one that needed to, they wanted me to starve myself because I was trashy looking. It was too much. And I'm looking at myself and here I am like being, I don't know, 13, 14 years old and entering modeling back in my country and literally starving myself, Joyce. That was like, you would never be pretty enough. You would never be skinny enough. And I'm looking at myself, it's like, why? I wanted to literally cut everything off. It's like, why? Yeah. I didn't understand. And the whole pressure of society of that's not the look, because back in the day, when we're talking about 90s, go back to the European, very slender, tall, right?
Yes.
Curves back in the day, curves back in the day were trashy. They were too much. And here I am trying to enter the modeling, looking completely crazy. And looking back and I'm like, wow. Wow. You know what I mean? Now our curves, now everybody wants to have this. Yeah, now everybody wants to have the bigger behinds, the slender waist, the bigger bust. And now it's trendy. But the strength of our bodies, you know what I mean? It was built for something. It was built for something. But you come in a society that doesn't respect it and look at it as it was trashy. Like, what? The other day I was looking at an interview of, oh my gosh, I think she retired. This MMA Ronda Rousey.
Oh, yes. Oh, I remember her, yeah.
Yes. She is no Afro-descendant, but she's strong and built strong. And she's like, if you look at, the Williams sisters, that body. And beautiful. She was beautiful, strong, healthy bodies. And then she was talking about a subject which comes down to fashion and aesthetics. It's like, I am sick of getting these comments that I look like a man, that I have too much muscles. I have built and contoured my body for the craft that I do.
Yes.
So I am strong and I build strong. You have to be accepted and happy.
I love that she owns it. And I think that's a challenge to us all women, that really at the end of the day, it's about, you look in the mirror, you don't see the Instagram reels, you don't see the audience, when you look in the mirror when we wake up in the morning, it's basically us, so that authenticness of how we are made should be basically what we put out in the world. And it's a struggle. It really is, because we have this, people telling us that, oh, you're too this, you're too that, you're too. But I think at the end of the day, the commentary that needs to always should be our own confidence that this is who I am. Like you said, if you don't like it, then
what can I tell you?
But I think getting to that level is where that is where the challenge is.
And that's what we have to transfer to our younger generation.
Yes.
That confidence. And
that's it.
That realness,
Yes.
Life is much more than a post on social media. It's much more than what the media, perceive of beautiful. Reality hits completely different, and you have to own yourself the way you are, unapologetically, just the way you are. Own it. Today, I'm like, you know what? I am 5'9", 160. So what's up?
beautiful. Like you said, strong, beautiful, and your body is built to what? To conquer the journey that you're on.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. That's the point that we need to, transfer to this generation. In terms of just culture stuff. Culturally, a people of color as Black women, that strength, that confidence, the confidence in hair that is like kinky, and being able to wear it in locks and braids.
Yes.
Or even like highlighted or like whatever. That confidence is coming from somewhere.
Of you being able to be yourself and put yourself out there as you. That is beautiful.
That is
take it all that stereotype of, I have to be this or I have to be that, or I have to lighten my skin.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That is crazy. And unapologetic of everything. This is what I am. The other day, I'm, with my ex, we're hanging out with our daughter, and he's just looking at me, and he's like, "What happened to your elbow?" He said, "What happened to my elbow?" And I look at my elbow, and nothing. Why does it look like that? And I look at it because I'm Black. Why does it look like that? Because I'm Black. How are you supposed to look like? And we just start laughing. We just start laughing. My daughter laughing, and in that moment, it's like, yes, it's like this is how I look like.
Yes, this is me. This is me authentically.
That's it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with me, but this is how my body looks like. And
I love that you just realized that now.
Yeah, right.
Another conversation.
Girl, that was we were going into a restaurant. We're going to a restaurant, and he's just looking at me, but he was like, "What happened to your elbow?" And my daughter was like, and I look at my elbow and say, like, "Nothing." He's like, "Why does it look like that?" Because I'm Black. And then my daughter cracks up laughing. He's laughing. The people that behind him just laughing. People get like, "Oh my God," they don't even know what to answer.
I know people get really. I know. Girl, trust me. I'm in these streets all the time, and it's like, listen, we can have a conversation. I mean, I'm Black.
And yes, and I like to refer to as so. Like I don't understand with the whole touching, walking on eggshells. It's like.
But
No.
I have to ask you a question. Do you feel like you have to educate a lot of people on like just culture or Blackness, or you have to take up that role of education, huh?
Yes, and he's in the beginning was very insulting, and but I have to understand that I live in a country that we are these people are not well educated when it comes to cultures and outside for and I hope I don't offend anybody, and if I do, well, I'm sorry. Keep watching, maybe just keep tuning in, but.
This is a safe place. It's
Yeah, but I have to be honest to myself and to my audience to how I feel. And yes, I feel that, as Afro-descendants, as Latina, as Colombian, and as Afro-descendant, in the beginning was very insulting, but now I have taken a role of educating people. It's like, you can't be walking around being ignorant like that. Like, in the beginning was like, oh my God, Colombia, oh my God, Pablo Escobar, drugs, and Pablo Escobar said, okay, we are a country with like biodiverse. We have literally all climates. We are much bigger than a guy that is so decayed. It's been like 30 years, like get over it. Let's move the page. So, second of all, being Afro-descendants, like, people here, they won't accept me as such. It's like, they look at me because they base everything on, I don't know, the features or probably the texture of my hair or whatever. And it's like, don't understanding that we come in all colors, in all shades. And that it was also very insulting to me because, can you imagine, I grew up Afro-Latina. Like, I've been Afro-Latina all my life.
Yes.
And I'm coming from a city, my city is like 90% of the people look like me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So when it comes to when somebody asks me, telling me that I have to like acknowledge my heritage, it's like I have never have to acknowledge anything because all I knew was being Afro-Latina.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you go in my city, everybody goes negra here, negra there, negra. It's just like you turn. It's like it's me, and it's like it's proudness. It's nice. I never felt like discriminated against in my community or nothing like that. It was the same. Everybody's the same. You know what I mean?
That's exactly.
Lighter people or whiter people, they're the minority there. Like, honestly, and it's just the way it is. So when you come over here and you describe yourself as Colombian, and they ask, about what is your ethnic background, because they want to know, where is the melanin coming from? And you say Afro-Latina, they're like, no, you're not Afro. And I'm like, oh, okay. And explain me that. because everything I see is black. You know what I mean? Like when I see my features, culture-wise, I am culturally Colombian, but race-wise, I am Afro-descendant.
Exactly.
So I really don't.
That's where the education comes in.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's,
like,
culture-wise. Culture-wise, I probably don't behave as Afro-Americans or European, like Afro-Europeans, because culture-wise, I'm different. I was
regional, cultural.
Yes.
So many variables. Yeah. So it's, people like to generalize. Well, Black people are not like a monolith. Like, we're just not, you know what I mean? We have so many variations of just like Blackness. Like, you won't even, people, Mariah Carey and all the, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just so many beautiful. And at the end of the day, I mean, like it or not, like I said to my husband, you've got some Black in you too.
Yes.
Stuff that's a bit.
I know.
From the motherland, everybody's from Africa. Right?
Everybody is from the motherland. Like I it's my daughter. She gets at school. And our kids, unfortunately, go to schools that unfortunately don't represent how the world looks like due to where we live or whatever.
Yes.
But when she talks about it, because when they see her and when she gets a 10 and she's like, oh my God, you're Italian, she's like, no, Colombian. And then she's like, but you don't look like it. And then they see me and it's like, your mother is Black. And it's like, yes, I am Afro too. They don't believe it.
I know. Rosanna is such a beautiful mix of just,
It's just
like, it's just beautiful to see the different shades, right?
Right? The different shades. When I see Sienna, the same thing. It's like I see this gorgeous, tall, beautiful girl. Like this skin tone is just, I can't even describe, with this huge mane. You know what I mean?
And she's having a field day, like just talking about hair, For the longest time, we were at a small, like talking about school and stuff, very small school, not really represented. And so, like, she was very, demure and like kind of like shy almost, about her hair. And now we're at a bigger place, a bigger school, and there's so much diversity. So, she's got long braids all the way up to here. She's
nice.
So it's so interesting, like how when, we live in these places, but we choose not to dictate them to dictate,
exactly.
what is really, for us, because
exactly.
It's like, that's the thing. Like you said, wherever we are, we're going to represent, We're
going to educate and we're going to represent.
Exactly.
And what better way to do it than honoring your roots, and to finish
so
this.
Important.
And to finish this episode with that, I would say that what better way to honor your ancestry, to honor heritage is just walk out of the door representing who you are with proudness, because we're honorable people, and that we're so small represented in the world, and we've been shamed, and we've been told lies, and we've been just generalized and things that are not even half true. It's time for us.
The times would be
Yes,
muted. And so this is a great platform.
Exactly. It's a time for to get out there and show our new generation that there is reason to be proud. We made it.
Absolutely.
We made it in a country that doesn't represent us. We made it in a country that doesn't look like us. But we're here to represent our heritage, our culture, and to be proud of it. To be proud of our Blackness, to be proud of our culture, whatever that is. Whoever you are, if you are a Punjabi, if you are a Gujarat, if you are a Palestinian or Israel, if you are from
Egyptian,
Mozambique or Botswana or Kenya or wherever you are, just be there, be proud, because when the world see the proudness of you are, they cannot knock you down.
And also when the world sees the proudness, exactly, 100%. Emphasize the last point you said, my sister. They see the proudness. They see, where we're from, what we're representing. We can have another conversation, and we can learn from each other. And that's the beauty of this dialogue back and forth, like these voices, this platform, what you're creating, Tuti. I am so blessed. I am so thankful. Thank you for giving me this time to powwow with you, my sister. I am so proud of you. And we will, I'll be back and we'll celebrate. Absolutely.
So thank you, Joy, for joining us. Thank you for sharing your amazing experience. Thank you for your braveness. Thank you for keeping yourself the way you are. Unapologetic, beautiful, black as hell, and representing your Blackness. I love it.
That's all we can do.
Thank you, everybody, for listening and for just keep joining us and jumping in to listen to these episodes that are just full of education and personal experience. And I hope somebody can relate and learn from this. So keep tuning in. Remember, Tell of Tuti is available in all your mainstream podcasts. And we're here. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.